Welcome back to the We Are City channel and the Reboot Career Mode, where we get off with explosive news here to start the episode. Exclusive from David Ornstein here, Manchester City have reached a total agreement with Newcastle United to sign Bruno G. City have gone back in with a second bid after the first one was rejected. Newcastle United have now accepted Manchester City's payment structure on 85 million plus £5 million fee. So basically 90 million, but 85 plus 5 in bonuses. The 26-year-old Brazilian midfielder given permission to do a medical in Manchester and finalise personal terms. That means in today's episode we will see our first massive sign of the series. Bruno G, the Brazilian midfielder, the man to play alongside Rodri, to back up Rodri. He's coming to Manchester City. And here you can see the offer has been accepted, £85 million. That move will go through. But first, after agreeing personal terms and signing the contract and all that for Bruno G, he must go through a medical as well. And he will be doing that in Manchester after the Community Shield final, or during the Community Shield final. He will be announced after that, which is in today's episode. There's some question marks over Kevin De Bruyne's future, but as far as I'm concerned, he will be staying at the club for this season. But also it's over Julian Alvarez. And I'm looking at sort of a creative attacking player to come in who can play perhaps across the front line, can play as a striker, can play in midfield. Someone who can replace perhaps Bernardo Silva for the future as well. And that player I'm looking at is Alejandro Baya of Villarreal. A very underrated player, it seems. A central midfielder, a left midfielder and a striker. He could replace either Bernardo if he was to leave, De Bruyne or Alvarez. He's sort of all three players merged into one in a sense. In 34 appearances for Villarreal in La Liga last season, Baya got himself 3 goals but 14 assists. A very creative player, and he's picking up numbers that maybe a Kevin De Bruyne would pick up, and that stands out to me as a player we should be looking at, and perhaps a much cheaper option, an easy deal to complete than one for the likes of Jamal Musiala or Florian Wirtz. Now, the full report here says Alex Baya is Villarreal's attacking dynamic playmaker, excels in creativity and assists, making him one of Europe's top creators. His vision and precise passing constantly unlocks defences, providing numerous scoring opportunities for his teammates. He's a very creative player, and with 14 assists, he's bringing up the sort of numbers that a Kevin De Bruyne is pulling out at the end of the season, and that's why he really started to start to shoot the top of my list as a player to bring in and perhaps be a creative force for the future at Manchester City, behind Kevin De Bruyne and behind Bernardo Silva. 14 assists a player with 14 assists is something you've got to keep an eye on. And like I said, we've got Musiala on the list, we've got Wirtz on the list, we've also got strikers on the list for Bernardo Silva and Alvarez as well. All three of those, we're not entirely sure of their futures after this season. I mean, Alvarez could leave this season. Alex Baya is the man I'm looking at and thinking, he could come in and play a false 9 role for the club. He can come in very creative. I know we've got a lot of young players coming through as well, but he's certainly one I'm keeping an eye on, and certainly one this Manchester City side I think would excel with, and I think he would fit into this side seamlessly. He actually at one point played on loan at Girona, one of City's sister clubs, where he really impressed the trainers and things there as well. So he is one that has been sort of interwoven with Manchester City, and the fact that he's had such a good season in La Liga last year does put him really high on my list. Before we get into that Community Shield, there has been a bit of talk between new signed Savio and manager Pep Guardiola. Pep says, "We are thrilled to have you here. To Savio, your talent and energy will be a fantastic addition to the squad. I hope you will have settled in well with the squad." And Savio says, "Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I'm ready to work hard and help the team in any way I can." And Pep Guardiola is about to drop some big news on Savio. He says, "Now, I want to talk to you about your debut. Our first big game is the Community Shield final against Manchester United, a derby. And I think it's the perfect occasion for you to get your first taste of English football. You'll start on the bench, but I'm planning to bring you on the second half." Meaning Savio will make his debut today, in today's episode, in that Community Shield final. Savio says, "That's a huge game. I'll be ready." Pep Guardiola says, "This is just the beginning for you here. Show us what you can do, and the fans will love you. Now go out and enjoy your training. We're working some tactics for the game, because the Community Shield final will have Savio making his debut." And speaking about players to come into that future position of Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, we spoke about Alex Baya, who would be a signing we could make, but a player who's already at the club and set to join up with this squad in January. He will join the club in January, then we'll decide what we want to do with him, whether we loan him out or not. With 11 appearances for River Plate so far, he has scored 6 goals and got 2 assists, Claudio Echeverri. A real big signing for the future of this Manchester City side. A dynamic midfielder, he excels with exceptional dribbling, vision and playmaking. His agility and creativity make him a formidable attacking force, showcasing maturity and potential beyond his years. And speaking of potential, this young man has a lot of potential. City have bought him in to be perhaps the replacement for Kevin De Bruyne over the next few years. He has got that quality Brazil fans who are, you know, against Argentina. I've seen a lot of Brazil fans say how good he is. Argentina fans say how good he is. The next Lionel Messi, I don't think so. I do think he's going to be one of the creative superstars of the future, and one we need to keep an eye on at Manchester City and his progress and development. He might even get his chance, like I said, halfway through this season in January, where he comes back from his loan and joins up with Pep Guardiola's squad. And it's time for our first big game of the series. Of course, these episodes, there's only been one game per episode. That will increase, of course, when the transfer window is but with the transfer window open, there's lots going on. There's lots to happen in the transfer window. It's Manchester United in the FA Community Shield final at Wembley, and it's our chance to get revenge for that unimpressive and disappointing FA Cup final defeat. So final game pretty much of pre-season, our final starting 11, but this is more than just a pre-season game. It is the Community Shield against Manchester United, and we would like to, and we're going with this 3-2-4-1 shape with Haaland a little deeper. I will explain that. We're still missing players that have played in the Euros, in the latter stage of Euros, like Foden, Stones, Walker, and also the Copa America like Julian Alvarez, who might not be a City player come the end of the transfer window. Ederson is carrying a bit of a knock, so he misses out on the bench today, but he's expected now to stay at Manchester City. Ortega starts in goal back three of Captain Diaz, Manu Akanji and Joško Vardiol. The two in front of Kovacic and Rico Lewis. It's Bob on the right, the exciting Bob on the right, Grealish on the left, and then Bernardo Silva and Erling Haaland and James McAtee are our trident of the three up front, or five perhaps. On the bench we've got Savio, who could make his Manchester City debut, Doku, De Bruyne, Sissoko, Katongo, Wilson, Esbrand and Carson. Still three young players evolved around the squad there. Tactics-wise, we're going with a press after possession loss, a team width of 30 and a depth of 90, a nice high line from the City slide. Slow build-up, 20 width in terms of defence, keeping things very tight and narrow. Players in the box just three away from the top, and then on the corners and the goal kicks and so on, looking like that. Rules-wise, captain will be Erling Haaland. Free kick taker will be... Who should take the free kicks here? I think Bernardo Silva should take the free kicks. He took some against Real Madrid. Long free kick will be Jack Grealish. Penalties will be Haaland. Left corner will be Grealish, and right corner will also be Jack Grealish. Instructions-wise, Ortega is on comes crosses and sweep the keeper. Every single player is on aggressive interceptions. We haven't been nice and aggressive. Akanji playing at right back, aggressive interceptions, step up. Vardiol, aggressive interceptions and step up. Kovacic more of a deep line playmaker role, covering the centre. Rico Lewis more drifting into that right back role, so drifting wide and defending in the wide areas. Bernardo Silva come back on defence, stay in the edge of the box, drift wide. I want the wide attacking midfielders to link up with the wide players. So McAtee to link up with Bob and Silva to link up with Grealish. Grealish can come back in defence, stay wide, stay in the edge of the box. Bob's a bit of a different one. I want him to drift inside a little bit more, come back in defence, get into the box. McAtee to drift wide, so those two rotate a little bit more than Bernardo and Grealish on this side. And Erling Haaland, I'm playing as a centre forward, not as a striker. He's on stay central and target man. Stay forward, aggressive interceptions, because the way United like to play, if we drop Haaland just a little bit deeper, the centre-backs don't want to follow, but the midfielders do, and that will create a lot of space here at Wembley. Hopefully, it's worked a few times for City against Manchester United, hopefully it works again for Pep Guardiola's side. First competitive game, in a sense, for us of the series. I'm hoping we come out with a win, and that Community Shield in the trophy cabinet. So, Wembley Stadium, FA Cup played the final here against Manchester City. City were defeated by United, a poor performance, but this time it's chance for City to make up for previous mistakes with a game against Manchester United where they will play for this Community Shield trophy. It is not a prestigious trophy by any means. Ten Hag's side have made big improvements to the transfer window. Pep Guardiola's side haven't. It's Ten Hag versus Guardiola. It is the FA Community Shield final. So Manchester United start with a strong side. They've got Rasmus Højlund up top, Garnacho, Rashford and Fernandes in behind. Kobe Mainoo partners Ugarte in that midfield. Luke Shaw is in there despite playing for England. Over to Haaland, it's blocked away that pass, and United come on the counter now. Bruno Fernandes, Garnacho. United have got a lot of running power and speed, haven't they? And they're showing it again here. Garnacho. Now Silva gets back for City. Alejandro Garnacho gets the ball in. Joško Vardiol does the simple thing and just heads it out for a corner. He defends his box well there. United very much a counter-attacking side. They're going to sit back with bodies behind the ball. Ortega comes to this one. It's a punch. Garnacho, nice touches. Garnacho. Vardiol makes a tackle. Now Silva in his own box. He does really well. Kovacic back to Ortega. Oscar Bob in space, but we're going centrally to McAtee. Akanji. Hoping for a bit of pressure from the other opposition players. McAtee wide to Bob. In behind here to Oscar Bob. Chance for City. Bob, brilliant play. It's Oscar Bob for Manchester City. Big save from Onana. Great football behind for a corner. Really good start there by Manchester City here at Wembley. Back to Akanji. City patient in possession. Nice little skill from Akanji. Oscar Bob. He spun Luke Shaw brilliantly. Bob in there to the middle. Bernardo and Grealish waiting. Rasmus Højlund on. Diaz down. Back to Vardy on. City start again. Very composed and also relaxed so far today. It's McAtee. McAtee. Cross the box. Lenny Yoro away. Bob up against Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw makes a tackle, but Manchester City have another corner. Good 24 minutes here from Manchester City. United City back and defending. Looking to it on the counter. Ball in. Jack Grealish attacks it with a glancing header. And it's just past the post by Jack Grealish. Erik ten Hag's side. Very defensive approach from Erik ten Hag's side. Can't quite find him. Bernardo Silva. Kovacic. Back to Bernardo. Rico. Vardiol. Rico. Great play. Haaland here takes it. Haaland can get the shot off. Blocked away by United again. Grealish up against Dalot. He's rode a challenge there. Grealish really well. Jack Grealish hits a cross in. It's a block by Martinez. It's another corner for Manchester City. Grealish in. Haaland against Lenny Yoro. Haaland against Lenny Yoro. And it ends one way. Manchester United's new signing bullied. And it's the number 9 Erling Haaland with a thumping header to give City a deserved lead at Wembley here. Absolutely destroyed Manchester United here today, Manchester City. Jack Grealish the assist. Thumping header by Erling Haaland. Even Dalot and Onana, who were in the right place actually, couldn't keep that header out. Yoro bullied. Onana beaten. Dalot beaten by the bounce. Manchester City lead in the Community Shield final. Pep Guardiola's side are 1-0 up and United have hardly touched the ball. McAtee. Give that space towards Oscar Bob. Bob. Lifts one. Grealish is there. Grealish the far post. Haaland is waiting. 2-0 City. Fantastic football from Manchester City. And it's 2-0 and it's Haaland again. And Grealish with another assist. Oscar Bob searching past the left-hand side. Grealish the far post. Luke Shaw doesn't mark Erling Haaland. And it's 2-0 Manchester City. Haaland waiting. Haaland on the volley. City 2, Manchester United 0. And Haaland is drinking that tea. What a goal that is from Erling Haaland, Jack Grealish. Manchester City 2, Man United 0 in the Community Shield final. That's more like it. That is more like it, Manchester City. On to the near post. Kanji waits, only as far as Martinez. Marcus Rashford with a shot blocked away by Ruben Diaz. Good block. It will stay in. Rasmus Højlund picks it up. Grealish out to him. Ugarte. Ugarte tries to get to the far post. Ortega with a save. Fernandes. City struggling here. Højlund on the volley and into the hands of Stefan Ortega. And City, let's just calm things down here, says Ortega, before the end of this first half. Back to Bob. McAtee. Bob. Akanji. McAtee. Oh, great touches by McAtee. Fires one in. He falls to Bernardo Silva, the shot. And he scuffs it. Why? What a chance for 3 that was. Rico back out to Vardiol. Flicked it down to Grealish. Grealish back into Vardiol here. Joshko Vardiol for Manchester City. From fullback Vardiol. Pulls it back to Erling Haaland. What a save by Onana. Hits it with power. The Cameroonian gets it over the bar. Mason Mount is coming on here for Alejandro Garnacho. Vardiol. Jack Grealish. Away from Dalot, is he? No, Dalot makes a good sliding challenge. It's behind for a throw in. Rasmus Højlund off, and Joshua Zirkzee will make his Manchester United debut here. Competitive debut, not quite. Manu Akanji. Oscar Bob. Through to Akanji. Far post is Bernardo Silva. It's over everyone. Mason Mount gets it away. City press. Zirkzee. In there is Diaz. Into Haaland on the turn. Haaland back out to Bernardo. Grealish. Cross in. Bernardo on the volley. Big save by Onana. Oscar Bob for City. Bob, and he gives it away again. Now Zirkzee, and there's a trouble for City here. Joshua Zirkzee plays it wide to Mason Mount. Mount inside to Bruno Fernandes, who scuffs his shot wide. And the City changes should be coming on now as well. So James McAtee off. He's had a good game today. He'll be in our squad this season. Oscar Bob off as well. Savio makes his Manchester City debut. Jeremy Doku makes his first appearance of the season. First touches for Savio. De Bruyne, Haaland. Here's Savio. The exciting Brazilian's off straight away here. Debut for Savio. And he's off. Savio. Savio for City. And his first few touches on the ball. Savio scores. What a goal by SAVINHO. Manchester City's new Brazilian winger. Off the bench against Manchester United in the Community Shield. Takes his first 2 touches. Drives past Luke Shaw's right hand side. And smashing the back of the net. I tell you what, in the wide areas, Manchester City have got some players, haven't we? Brilliant from SAVINHO. Off he goes. Bang past Onana. Did he go near post there, Savio? Does he go near post? He does do. Sneaks it into the back of the net. 3-0 in the Community Shield. A debut for Savio. And a debut goal for City's new Brazilian. Jeremy Doku. To Jack Grealish. Back to Doku. Nice touches by Doku. He's absolutely slammed here. But Doku's back to his feet. He's not giving up here, Doku. Doku. Oh, brilliant from Doku. Absolutely brilliant from Doku there. Doku. Doku skipping the challenges. Doku in towards De Bruyne. His final ball lets him down. But he's been electric. Rico Lewis, a sliding challenge on Mason Mount. Can't keep it. City will want a clean sheet as well here on the opening day. Bursting away is Kobe Mainoo, is it? Who's been schooled by Manchester City today. Full time, this Manchester City side. Kicking off the season with the FA Community Shield. And a big win, a 3-0 win in the final. Haaland with a double. Savio off the bench as well. Jeremy Doku was electric when he came on also on that left-hand side. Manchester City are going to lift the Community Shield. And it's Ruben Diaz with that captain's armband today. He started with the game with it on. He'll keep it on. Of course, Kevin De Bruyne there as well. We have put out a vote to you guys who should be our captain for the season. That will be shown when we finish the transfer window. We know the full squad and so on. But up steps Ruben Diaz for Manchester City. Because City are Community Shield winners. Come on. Big win in the final. A 3-0 win over United who beat us in the FA Cup. A nice bit of revenge to beat them, I suppose, isn't it? Celebrations for the City side. I was very impressed by Oscar Bob on the right-hand side. And Rico Lewis in the midfield. James McAtee as well. City, a very strong side. City looking a level above Manchester United without even the full first team there. And what could this Pep Guardiola side achieve this season? Could we once again go for a historic treble win? Well, that is the plan. Maybe even an historic quadruple. The players can celebrate though. First trophy in the bag for the season. It's not really a major trophy, but it's one the players can say, we beat Manchester United 3-0. An impressive win, a very impressive win. Here is the news we've been waiting for, and the big news for this episode. Manchester City complete deal for midfielder Bruno Guimaraes. Manchester City signed the Brazilian from Newcastle for £85 million plus £5 million in add-ons, a total of £90 million for the holding midfielder. He's going to come in and be an absolute superstar, perhaps our new Fernandinho in a sense. He's going to play alongside Rodri. He's got the qualities that Ilkay Gundogan has as well. Very tenacious. He's a mix of, I think, Fernandinho and Ilkay Gundogan in that sense. He will wear the number 39 shirt for Manchester City, and he is going to be a top addition to this side. I'm so excited to have Bruno Guimaraes here at Manchester City. And our first big, massive sign of this series arrived in Manchester earlier today. Signed some footballs and shirts for the younger fans and so on around the ground. I met up with his new manager who's had talks with already in Pep Guardiola. Bruno Guimaraes was then put through his pace in a Manchester City medical to show that he was ready, had all the fitness, no injuries, no problems before signing contracts, signing all the, official things. And then it was time to put on a Manchester City shirt and announce himself alongside Pep Guardiola as City's massive signing. Bruno Guimaraes is a Manchester City player. Bruno Guimaraes to Manchester City for £85 million plus a possible extra £5 million in add-ons. He makes the move from Newcastle to Manchester City and he gets an A rating for that transfer. Brilliant from our sporting director, Cheeky Big Gary Stein. Welcome to Manchester City, an 86 rated midfielder in Bruno Guimaraes. We end the episode there with a massive signing, £85 million spent on an absolute colossal of a player. Please like the video if you haven't already. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new, because Bruno Guimaraes' debut will be coming in the next episode. And I'm excited to see it. We'll see you guys for the start of the... Bye.